Hey USHL fans, welcome back to another edition of the U Show. My name is Josh Starr, and today we have another great episode for you, full of USHL content. We'll get you the players of the week and the top plays. We'll have a conversation about development with the USHL Director of Player Personnel, Frank Butler. We'll recap last week's action and some really important wins for a couple of teams in the standings, and then we'll look ahead to a couple of really big series this week in the USHL as the playoff push continues and we approach the month of April. We'll start this week's show with the USHL Players of the Week. The USHL Forward of the Week is Noah Ernest from the Sioux Falls Stampede. A goal and 5 assists for Ernest over 3 games this weekend, all wins for Sioux Falls. On Saturday in Lincoln, tied a career high with 3 points, and overall leads the Stampede with 46 points this season. The USHL Defenseman of the Week is Xavier Veilleux from the Muskegon Lumberjacks. 5 assists in 3 wins over Green Bay this weekend and a +6 rating for Veilleux. The New York Islanders draft pick has 31 assists and 37 total points this season for Muskegon. The USHL Goaltender of the Week is Caleb Heil from the Madison Capitols. 2-0 this week, with both wins coming against Dubuque in massive Eastern Conference wins for Madison, a .934 save percentage in total. 29 for 30 in a 3-1 win on Thursday at home, and then in Dubuque on Saturday, 28 of 31 in a 5-3 victory. Those are the USHL Players of the Week, and they contributed for each of their teams to huge wins this past weekend. We'll start last week's recap with the Madison Capitols and their 3 big wins in the Eastern Conference. The Capitals swept a 3-game week with 2 big wins over Dubuque and 1 over Cedar Rapids. A 3-1 win on Thursday at home against Dubuque, and then on Saturday, 5-3 in Dubuque, the Capitals winning. Madison now has 76 points, tied in second place in the Eastern Conference with Muskegon, who they play 3 times this weekend. Led by Caleb Heil, the goaltender of the week, and Igor Barabanov, who scored the game winner on Saturday late in the 3rd period. He had 2 goals and 4 points overall on the weekend. Madison's opponent this weekend, the Muskegon Lumberjacks, also sweeping 3 games last weekend, all at home and all against the Green Bay Gamblers. A 6-3 win on Friday, where Ivan Rabkin had 3 goals and 4 points in the win. And then on Saturday, a 6-3 win and a 6-1 victory on Sunday, with Xavier Veilleux also leading the way as the USHL Defenseman of the Week. Rounding out the week of 3-game sweeps with the Sioux Falls Stampede taking all 3 matchups this past weekend. 2 in Lincoln against the Stars on Friday and Saturday, a 4-2 win on Friday, a 6-4 win on Saturday, and that was all before a 6-3 win at home on Sunday against Fargo. Brent Solomon, early in his USHL career, just his 2nd game, opened his scoring with a goal on Friday, and in the whole weekend combined, Solomon with 4 goals for his first 4 USHL points. Into the final 3 weeks of the regular season, and every point counts right now for seeding and for qualifying for the Clark Cup playoffs. Let's get to our conversation on this week's U Show. It is with the USHL Director of Player Personnel, Frank Butler, and talking all things development in the USHL.
So we're here at the Minnesota Expo. We're coming up on the USHL Development Series. It'll start with the Phase 1 Combines May 1st through 4th. So what can you tell me about the USHL Development Series?
Yeah, so with these combines and camps coming up, it's a great opportunity for kids to get exposure to the USHL and all the great things our league has to offer. They get to network with various USHL coaches or directors of scouting or GMs, and then there's a various set of things we put on. We do on-ice testing, off-ice testing, lots of presentations regarding College Hockey Inc. come out and give a presentation. I'll give a presentation on the USHL, and it's just a really good information learning lesson for not only the kids but the parents as well.
How much of an opportunity can events like this be for kids that maybe weren't noticed before? There's been numerous examples in the USHL. Matt Boldy, Thomas Bordelot, Alex Lafreniere, Landon Slager. So how much of an opportunity do these present for players?
Yeah, I think the opportunity that players get at these combines and camps, it's a good opportunity for them to get out and really showcase their skills in front of all 16 USHL teams. And a lot of times I know there's a lot of various travel with teams, and guys don't get as many viewings on some kids. So what I like to think is it's a great opportunity for maybe a kid that is a little under the radar, or a kid who needs a little more exposure. He can come out to the camp and gain exposure that way. And that's really what this camp's made to do, is really highlight kids' skills and our league.
What age groups are open for the combine, and if you're interested in attending the combine, how does that process work?
So the upcoming combines that we have, so we'll have the Phase 2 combine, which will be the 2007 and 2008 birth years. That'll be April 17th to the 20th. And then we'll have our Phase 1, so first year draft eligible 2009s, and then 2010s, which are 1 year out from their draft eligible year, and that'll be May 1st to the 4th. And then we do a player development series with some younger kids. That's 2011s and 2012s this year, and that's more of much more interactive, where they come get 2 practices, 3 games. They get that great opportunity of networking with coaches and staff, and not only the players but the parents get to learn about the process and how they transition from youth hockey to high school or prep school hockey to junior hockey.
And then where do you go if you want to learn more about it?
So if you want to learn more about the USHL Combines, there's a tab right on our USHL.com website. Click the tab development, and then right under there you'll see USHL Combines. You can fill out our player questionnaire form. And really what our camps are is they're invite only, so what we do is we get recommendations from coaches, agents, advisors, you name it, and then we filter through those questionnaires. We look up the players, we look up their elite prospects. We'll make some phone calls to see if they're worthy of an invite, and we invite them and hope they attend.
Thanks to Frank Butler for his time on this week's U Show. Now it's time for the USHL Top Plays of the Week.
In Malbuff, he's unable to. Malbuff and Waterfield get tied up in the corner. Madison comes away with possession on the far side. Barabanov shot, scored! Igor Barabanov gives Madison the lead. 11:04 into period number 1.
He's tied up on the circles. They try to support. They have it back to the point. Desiderio across ice. Frank at the top on the right wing. Working down the near half wall. Holds up bottom of the circle. Banks back up high for Desiderio. To the right for Frank. On the circle, side of the net. Ruhon stops, backdoor, one-timer, they score! It's Michael Barron! A power play goal for the Saints. This game is tied up. The Saints have 2:54 left on the power play. 8:52 remaining in the third.
Chips around to the near corner side. Rombach brings behind the cage and works it out on the far end. Here's Jack Picard. Center ice, he'll glide in. Chips to Eachin. Back to Picard. Picard up top. Harrington, one-timer. He scores! Caden Harrington just inside the blue line. Hammer time. He makes it a 2-goal game.
This is West. West plays it in down low over to Lansing. Lansing slides it up on the left side. Trying to work it is Agerter. Agerter feeds it. Jumps over a stick and out to center ice. Here comes Trey Jeffress putting pressure, and comes in shorthanded, and a goal! Trey Jeffress again, his 5th shorthanded goal of the season.
Here comes Xavier Veillot back to the Muskegon zone for it. D to D with Finn McLaughlin. Puts the brakes on and centers for Veillot. Far side Galanic to the offensive zone, joined by Lawrence, pushes down low, tied into Lawrence, he scores! Nice hands in tight, tied into Lawrence on a beautiful assist from Jack Galanic. The Lumberjacks, they regain their lead 2-1.
Ernest behind the net. Swings and centers. Huck there, though, and he gets it out. Hawks ahead with it. Here's Meshiak over the line. Left side shot. They score. Teddy Mulgrave just tucks it under the crossbar. And just like that, it's a 4-2 hockey game. Ernest sends it behind the net. Gets it to Montero. Centers in front. Shot. Scores! Joey McCraw on the one-timer. A power play goal. And the Stampede extend the lead. It's 4-0 Sioux Falls. In corner now. Welch picks it up and the Stampede will get it out. Here's Welch up the right wing wall. Drops it left side. Merrick shoots and a save made. Rebound knocked aside. Now comes back to Ingles. He fires. Tipped and scores! Merrick tips it in and the Stampede the first goal of the...
Execute a line change of their own. Toll to the near side for Deputy. Ahead for Lawrence. Lawrence backdoor, fired on, they score! Ivan Rapkin, his third point of the game, and the Lumberjacks, they lead 4-3. Barry up the near side. Finds Galenic, sent in. Sanderson gives chase, takes possession. Sanderson behind the net, wrap around and Tempty scores! Carter Sanderson ties the game up. 2-2 with 3:45 to go in the second. All weekend long, but now here comes Carcone to the offensive zone. Carcone for Zellers. Backdoor, he scores! Goal number 41 of the season. The USHL league leader cuts the deficit in half, and it's 2-1 Lumberjacks.
Jamison can settle it down. 2 minutes to go. Period number 3. Tied up here in Dubuque. Into the offensive zone. Now come Madison. Far side. Johnson will beat him to it. Johnson plays to Waterfield. Waterfield up against the wall. Plays out front. Barabanov with a chance, and they score! Igor Barabanov gives Madison the lead with 1:48 to go in the third.
Low for Frank, who was stripped by Kaweja. Madison back ahead. Morello lays the hit. Cornforth has the puck. High slot. He rips. He scores! Gavin Cornforth ties it up at 1. His 22nd of the season. He leads the team. And with 7:40 left, the Saints respond. It's a 1-1 game in the first. Such a...
Across the line, poked away from him. DeJulian with a step far side from his knees, trying to play it for Loomer. Now continuing to try and play the puck. Could not come up with it. Loomer beneath the goal line. Brings to the near side. To the point. Harrington delays. Harrington shoots. He scores! Caden Harrington, what a play! It's a 1-goal game!
Pocketed from behind. Grabs it for a moment. But Dubuque hops back on it. Now Lee in the slot. A chance. Scored! Riker Lee gives Madison the lead. Had been held off the score sheet on Thursday and Friday night, but he gives his squad the lead 3-2 here on Saturday. Games at the NTDP. Turnover allows long possession. Near side, Barabanov shot that time. Pops Reed, and they score! Aiden Long was being dragged down by a Fighting State. Doesn't matter. 20th of the season for Long gives Madison the 2-1 lead.
Kept in by McLaughlin. Now Rapkin in the corner. Ivan Rapkin, far side wall off for Lawrence. Behind the net to the near side, here's Luka Radivojevic. Back down low for Nestrasil. Jackson in the midst of a change. Rapkin holds. Rapkin far side, he scores! Ivan Rapkin, 4-point night and the hat trick to boot.
And Mackey will pick up. Saints rush ahead at the end of this shift. The Saints try to move it into the zone. Spicer tips free. Ruohonen right to the front of the net. The backhand. He scores! Heikki Ruohonen takes charge. It's 2-1 Saints. 11:59 left in the first.
For the second time tonight, 0 for 1 so far. Face-off won by Clee. Rapkin, he scores! Ivan Rapkin, a big one-timer. And the Lumberjacks, they tie the game up at 1 apiece.
As always, a lot of highlight reel plays in the USHL from last week. Now it's time to take a look at the standings, where last week's action really created a logjam in both conferences toward the top, and teams continue to fight for their playoff positioning. As we take a look at the playoff push, we'll check in on a key race in each conference. First in the East, Madison and Muskegon, both tied with 76 points, the second most in the conference behind Dubuque's 77. Madison and Muskegon playing 3 games this weekend in Muskegon, the final 3 matchups of the season between the two teams, and they will be pivotal in this Eastern Conference race. Over in the Western Conference, the Sioux Falls Stampede right now just 3 points behind Lincoln with a game in hand. That game in hand on Thursday in Omaha against the Lancers. A win would put Sioux Falls just 1 point behind the Lincoln Stars for first place in the Western Conference. From here on out, every point will matter toward the playoff push in the USHL. A couple of things to keep an eye on this weekend. We talked before about the Madison and Muskegon series. In Muskegon for 3 games between those two teams. And the winner of that series likely to be in first place by the end of the weekend in the Eastern Conference. Down a little bit in the Eastern Conference standings. The 5-6 race, really interesting coming up this weekend. Green Bay and Cedar Rapids fighting for that positioning in the Eastern Conference. Green Bay with 2 games at home this weekend, Dubuque fighting Saints in town and the U17s in town. For Cedar Rapids, it's 2 against the U17s as the 2 teams try to fight for that seeding. In the Western Conference, the Sioux Falls Stampede, right now just 3 points behind first place Lincoln. A game on Thursday in Omaha can bring them within just 1 for that top seed in the Western Conference. A lot to still be decided in the final few games in the USHL. That does it for this week's U Show. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll have another show next week for you. My name is Josh Starr, and enjoy the coming week of USHL action.